Welcome back to the channel. This is Wei Hao at Direct Impact Solutions. This week, I'd like to talk about something a little bit different. I had a few technical subjects queued up, but something happened this week changed my mind on what to talk about. I don't know if it's just me, but man, April feels like a busy and hectic month. I know many people find it challenging with the work from home situation since the pandemic, but I didn't know how bad the situation is until I talked to some of my coworkers this week and realized many of them are experiencing burnout on different levels. For me, I started working from home in 2015, and during this 6 years, I have learned a thing or two. So instead of talking about a technical practice, I'd like to talk about some tips for working from home as a FileMaker developer. This is a big subject, so I'd like to break it down into multiple videos. In today's video, I would like to focus on tips for work-life balance. If my coworkers see this video, they might be surprised that I'm the one delivering this subject because I'm considered somewhat of a workaholic at the company. But work-life balance is subjective. It's not called work-life equality. The point of balance is up to each person. So how do I know I have a relatively balanced work-life now? To answer that, I need to compare how things are versus how things were in the past. When I first started working from home, I had a lot of issues regarding work-life balance. In the beginning, I was pretty excited. I thought I would be working in an environment that's more comfortable with more flexibility. And as a cat person, I thought I'd get to spend more time with my cats. So what more can I ask for? And when I told my friends I started working from home, they all had the same reaction. They all said how lucky I was. I got a nice desk, a chair, powerful computers, 2 monitors, a company phone hooked up to the company VoIP system. As far as hardware and equipment goes, I was ready. However, after a few weeks, the line between work and life became very blurry. My desk was right in my living room, and the company phone on it can ring at any time. Every time it rings, especially at night, I get nervous. I also don't know exactly where work ends and life begins. I would work past the regular working hours without actually delivering more. I constantly find myself both want and afraid to check my work emails at 11 p.m. And the worst part is, I was really not happy. I was experiencing burnout without even knowing that's what it is called. So, after that, I turned to the person I respect the most, my father. And as most Asian parents would do, he provided me with an answer that's both helpful and hurts my self-esteem. He said, I don't have a life. To achieve work-life balance, I need to have a life to begin with. Otherwise, I should just stop complaining and might as well spend more time at work to fill my empty life.
He said, and as I'm trying to show with my terrible drawing here, that time is like a U-shaped tube. Activities from work and life are like liquid poured into this tube on both sides. If I lack on one side, the liquid from the other side will push over. And if I don't have a life at all, then this tube will be filled with activities from work.
So, that is my first tip to you too. To achieve a work-life balance, there needs to be something for you to care about outside of work. Something you care enough about that will take your mind off work. This thing doesn't have to be productive in any way. It's your thing. For me, That means cultivating hobbies and work on my relationship with my family. After having something to care about outside of work, the next step is to create room for it. So my second tip on work-life balance is to create a working space. This can be as simple as a dedicated desk or a full-on home office. Ideally, the location of your working space would be somewhat separated from your living space if possible. For me, I moved my desk into a different room, and I consciously avoid going there after work. I personally find this method quite effective, as you would physically separate your work from your life. If you don't see or touch your work stuff, it helps you not think about them. My third tip on work-life balance is to have dedicated working hours. I know some of you might be thinking, wait, we are FileMaker developers. What happens if we have emergencies at night, or we need to do deployment after working hours or on the weekend? Those are fine. Those are part of our jobs. And you can define your own schedules. There are no standard timetables for everyone to follow. The key here is to have a point in time to switch off. This is easier said than done. For me, to switch off, I need to have the confidence that doing so wouldn't give me more stress the next day. So, I stepped up my game in QA and optimized my deployment schedules to minimize the number of emergencies and surprises that will occur after my working hours. I worked together with my clients and coworkers to form a communication plan that will allow me to effectively set expectations and do planning to drive my projects into a more predictable pattern. I got better at time management and task prioritization to ensure I can keep up and even improve my delivery quality and get something done every day, so my backlog doesn't get out of control. All this together gave me the confidence to not worry about work after my working hours. At this point, I have a dedicated working space that I avoid going there after work. I stick to my dedicated working hours and I have a bunch of time after work. But I still feel tired every day. This brings me to my last tip. Find activities to recover. For this point, I'm simply going to point you guys to this article that I find useful. The idea here is, instead of doing nothing, you should try to gain strength and energy by doing what's the opposite of your working activities after work. So for FileMaker developers, our working activities vary from person to person. But say you do a lot of development and design by yourself. They are considered individual, high mental strain activities. So after work, you should do the opposite, which is highly social and low mental strain break activities. So for example, going for group work, calling a friend, or, well, at this point, it's pretty much impossible to eat with a friend, but you get the idea. So there you go. These practices helped me get started on finding my work-life balance. And as of now, I won't say I have achieved it, but I'm much happier than before. So I hope these tips would be helpful to you too. In the next video, I will talk about tips on communication when working from home. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We publish FileMaker videos every week.